on the way home, and my son was like, "What, Dad? Why were you gone for so long?" I was like, "I was sick, buddy. You know, like, you know, that lady that you saw on Zoom call, like she was my doctor. She was helping me." And he's like, and like he kind of reached up and gave me a hug, and he was just like, "Even when you're sick, I love you with all my heart," you know. And it's just like moments like that is just like, this is why I'm still here and why I'm alive, and like why God showed that like you're here for a reason, you know, like you're here to help them not struggle through what you went through. Because if I would have ended my life, they would have hated themselves more, because they're like, why am I not good enough to live for, you know? And
Welcome world, welcome family to another episode of the EL2A Podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Gilmore Jr. To the right of me, we got the military man not here again. He won't be here on these episodes. Before we even get that, I'll let y'all know we got some civic engagement opportunities that's going on for our boys. So on the first Tuesday of every month, and we record on Tuesdays if you don't know, we take our boys down to the city council meeting. So Mr. Military Man is down at the city council meeting with our young boys. So again, we forgive him for not being here because it's for a great cause, all right? But to the right of him, me, we got the Rocket, the Heights and Seven Hills. Eddie Rock, how you feeling today, brother?
pretty good.
Pretty good. He was trying to look up a big word. So, all right, he's pretty good. Appreciate you being here. But to the right of him, we got a very, very, very special guest, my man, Mr. Rob Novoa. Is it
Novoa.
Novoa. Thank you. I meant to ask him before the cameras came.
It's all good, bro.
I didn't say it. I got called in the light.
I think this maybe a few people have actually got
Novoa. Okay, that's pretty unique. Where did that last name come from? You know,
Peru.
Considering? Peru. He's foreign, guys. He's foreign. But nah, brother, I appreciate you for being here with us today.
Hey, man, I appreciate y'all like allowing me to come and do this, man. Yeah. It's an honor.
I appreciate it. Yeah. But before we get started, y'all know how this goes. All right, we have a great conversation that we have about to have, but what I need you to do, all right, it's a secret. It really ain't a secret, but I'm gonna tell you quietly. Like, subscribe, comment. All right, stop what you're doing right now. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. We have great content that we put out on the EL2A Podcast each and every week, and we are educational. All right, you get some entertainment sprinkled in there, but we all about making you move your feet. And today, we have a great topic, a great conversation that we're gonna have that a lot of you may need. But I'm gonna start our conversation off like this, and we're gonna get right into it before we get to you, Rob. 1 out of 5 people in the U.S. are dealing with mental health issues. All right, so I'm gonna say this again. 1 out of 5 people in the U.S. are dealing with mental health issues. So that means 1 out of the 5 people you know, they are dealing with mental health issues.
5 people here.
It's 5 people. So for example, that puts perspective to it. And there's 5 people here. That's very, I like how you just moved it. There's 5 people in this room, and wow, man. That was powerful. But seriously, if you just think about that, God put it on my heart when we came into this season, this new year, that I need to start tapping into my network. I play college football, so every Thursday I get on Instagram Live with one of my teammates for the same reason, because I seen the statistics and stuff like that was crazy. Just for us, I call it connecting the dots. So I reach in with my teammates just to ask how they doing, how y'all doing, what you got going on, how can I help you? And those conversations have been so engaging. I've been engaging with my teammates, and it's powerful, man. So again, for you that's watching this, call somebody, text somebody, just ask them, are they all right? You never know what that can do for somebody. That's simple, just that checking on somebody, what that can do for their spirit. So with that being said, y'all can already think that topic has to do with our conversation today. And going over to you, Rob, brother, just saying I can give a little preface how I met you. We met in the gym. Obviously, we go to the same gym at Zone. And I always seen you. We just always, it's kind of like our schedules are kind of aligned. We end up in the locker room around the same time. And we started speaking. I started learning more about what you do and who you are. And it led us down a path of starting out. I'll let you know that I had a curriculum that I was doing, a program that I was doing, GPS, growth, personal development, self-discovery. You were interested in it and you joined it. And it's funny because you said it when we started, but you said I asked you a question. And what do you say, Dern? If you can just pick it up from there, and just let the people, give a little people on a little insight of who you are. Where did we go from there?
Yeah. Well, before we do that, can we? I was wondering if we can do a prayer before that, so that way, you know, like we can. It just help out.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, I'm trying to get closer to God, and you know, I'm Christ follower, and I want to bring more people if they can, get to closer to God too. And I know y'all are a godly podcast and so
For sure.
And I've never done it out loud before, so I had to write it down. And but just honored to do it on the first time here.
Yeah.
So
first time for everything, brother.
Yeah. So if y'all don't mind bowing your heads, and then I'll get started. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the gift of recovery. Guide me as a support. Guide me as I support others on their journey. Fill me with wisdom, compassion, and strength to uplift and encourage without judgment. For those still struggling, shine your light upon them. Give them hope, courage, and the assurance that they are never alone. Help me be a reflection of your love and grace. Serve with all willing heart. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to come on this podcast. And these guys up here to give me the opportunity to talk about mental health and all that. And in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen, brother. Amen. Well, yeah, picking up from there. So,
all right. So, what was that, like 2 years ago, I think? Yeah. And we talked about a bunch of things, but I think the main question that really like stuck out to me, and still to this day, like, is who is Rob? And at that time, like I've never been asked that, and it was just like it hit me so hard, like when you asked that, because I was so confused. Like I didn't know even how to answer that question, because I wasn't happy in my life. I wasn't like, I could say I was a husband, I'm a father and all that, but I felt like I wasn't a good husband. I felt like I wasn't a good father. I felt like all this stuff, and it's just like, so I wasn't proud to say it. So I didn't even know how to like answer that question, and like so going back, like I think now when I look back, I'm like, maybe that was like the start of my mental health problems. Like like maybe at the time I didn't realize it then, but I think now, like I'm like, man, I don't even know who I am. I could say a lot of negative things about myself. I mean, that was easy. Like I could say, oh, I'm a crappy father, I'm a crappy husband, like I'm ugly, I'm not good, just like all these negative stuff about myself, and it just came easier than saying anything positive. So just talking about that, like, if you don't mind, I go back a little bit, like, because where I feel like my mental health started.
Yeah, I was about to say, let me, because this is probably where you're going to answer this. So doing the work that we do, working with young boys, we understand that childhood development has a lot to do when you become a human. Like a lot of things, you bring your childhood trauma, your past experience as a child come with you as a human. So as I'm hearing you say that, in me working with you, one thing I saw that you lacked was like confidence. Confidence, like self-belief, like self-worth. Those are some of the things we talked about, because those are some of the things I do have, and that comes from my childhood. I have parents that always believed in me. I had parents that always told me that I was worthy, that I should achieve more. I had parents that encouraged me. So that makes me the man who I am today. When I saw you and I saw that this brother doesn't believe in himself. Like I can see your attributes, like you're in the gym, you're lifting, you're strong. You have a mission, you want to do something, but it's just like there's something in the middle that is not allowing you to do those things. So now, with that being said, what do you think that thing was that made you that person that really, I guess, didn't believe in itself?
Yeah, so I mean, looking back now, like, it's, you don't realize it at the time. And my parents did the best they could, like I came from divorced parents. Like I think my parents got divorced when I was 2 or 3 or something like that, and my older brother, like life came kind of easy for him, and he was smart, good looking, and all this stuff. And then, when I was in kindergarten, I got real sick, and got this skin disease that I got put on steroids. So I went from an average looking kid, skinny and all this, to blowing up. Like I just got really fat in kindergarten. Like it was like 2 different people in a matter of like a month. And so from then on, like I was pretty much fat the rest of my life. So I always felt like I was fat, I was dumb, like I wasn't like my mom, not that like I wanted like my mom to see it, like she's probably gonna watch this, and I don't want her to think that like I blame her for anything, because she did the best she could, like there wasn't as much research, there wasn't as much stuff as there is now, but I didn't get that confidence from her. It was just more of like, I'm gonna end up taking care of him the rest of my life. Like he doesn't know how to read that good. Like they got me help with Sylvan helped with Learning Center. Like I got help because I wasn't the best reader, and so I got help with that. But like I just never had that confidence from her. Like, you know, like what you were talking about your parents, like, you know, I just didn't feel worthy. And, you know, my brother, like I said, everything came easy to him.
Yeah.
And so it was like a competition, you know, almost like, or like he was a golden child, I felt like. And then it became more of a competition the older I got.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like I'm going to start getting in shape. I'm going to start doing this. Like I'm going to surpass him, you know, even though it shouldn't have been like that. Even though that's what I think now. Like at the time, it was just like, I didn't, I love my brother, you know, I looked up to him. He kind of showed me how to be a man, and, you know, like I had to learn from him because, you know, my dad left and he came back eventually, but he didn't like ever go out of my life completely. But he just lived in New York, and, you know, we lived here. So, you know, I think that's where my abandonment issues come from, you know, and then, and not only that, like growing up, like I said, I always felt fat, and my mom one time approached me and said, like, do you want to go to fat camp? You know, it's like, it's, you know, thinking back now, I was like, yeah, I would like to lose some weight, you know, blah, 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 you know, with then, but like thinking back now, it's like, man, she called it fat camp, you know, like that's still like,
that wasn't the name of the camp.
I don't know what it was called, honestly, but she just approached me about fat camp, you know, and so I looked at it as like, it's called fat camp. Like, I don't even know what it's called, to be honest.
For sure.
But, so I went, but I had never been away from home or anything. So I was crying, and then maybe that abandonment, you know, came back, you know, and it was just like, oh, fear of like losing my mom, or like, even like when, she would say, I'm on my way home, you know, we didn't have cell phones really then. And, she wasn't home in like 30 minutes. I was like, what happened? Something happened, or we got to find her, like this, you know. I was just having all these like anxieties, and like, where's my mom? Like, you know, is she going to bail out on me too, you know? Yeah. And, so I started realizing that stuff. And then, later on, you know, I got more in shape, and I started playing football, got more attention and all that. And, but it wasn't like, I still felt like that fat kid, you know. And then like even my brother and his friends, like they gave me the nickname Fat Rob. And at the time, you know, I embraced it. You know, it was like, yeah, I'm fat, and my name's Rob, so why not Fat Rob? You know, it's a good nickname. And then I remember one of their teachers even was like, oh, is this Fat Rob? You know, and you know, so they would just laugh it off. Yeah, that's me, you know, like blah, blah, blah. Like all the criticism I always just laughed off, you know. Yeah. But now that I think about it, it's like I still look at myself as Fat Rob, as that fat kid. You know, even when I look in the mirror and people are like, oh, you should be Fit Rob now, not Fat Rob. And I'm just like, no, I still look at myself as Fat Rob, and I'm going to keep the nickname. Yeah. And, but like now I just realize how much it has affected me, you know, like, and I never got past that fat kid, that worthless fat kid, that kid that's not smart, that kid that's like just in the shadow of my older brother, you know, and just like, you know, just not feeling good enough, you know?
Yeah. I think this is powerful, bro, because we're looking at a grown man who's fit. Like, again, you overcame the title of Fat Rob. You should be Fit Rob. You worked yourself hard to get to the point you are, but you're saying that you still see yourself or saw yourself as that big kid.
Yeah.
And as you're saying that, I'm trying to picture in my mind what allows that to happen. You get what I'm saying? And I don't know if you have the words for this, but what allows that? Because somebody may look at this and say, well, you grown now, like, just fix it. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not your mom's fault anymore. You deal with it. But when I say that, how do you respond to that? Like, if I was to tell you that.
So, everybody wants to say that, like, oh, you're an adult, you know better now, like all that stuff. And it's just like, it's not true. Like, I mean, I dealt with being Fat Rob for so long in my life, like 30, up to 37, you know, 38, I'm 38 now. And like, literally, like, I'm on that journey to not thinking Fat Rob anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, like I doubt, like as of a month ago, you know, I looked at myself as Fat Rob, and it's to change that mindset of I'm not Fat Rob anymore. Going 38 years of thinking I'm Fat Rob, like, it's like, how do you just click out of that like that? You know, it's not that easy. It's not that simple. Like, I've already wired my brain to thinking I'm fat, I'm worthless, I'm no good, I'm a loser, you know, and all this stuff. And that's not positive affirmations, you know. And like, so now I try to do more affirmations, you know. I'm trying myself, you know, but yeah, like that's what I didn't know if you had another question, but like, yeah, that's where I was going to go.
Yeah. And so that, and because you, I think you asked the question, or you answered the question, one of them, but when you said, because I'm thinking about some of the boys that we mentor. I got one in my head right now, like he's right here, and his nickname since he was 2-3 years old has been his nickname, and that has followed him. Now, sometimes for the good, but a lot of times for the bad, to the point that he did realize he had to change his environment because the nickname that he had carried a negative connotation, if that makes sense. So now the question that I was going to ask you is how, I guess, for a kid that maybe, if he was watching this right now, how would he be able to change from being the kid that has the nickname with the negative connotation to, all right, let me drop this and now let me be who my mom birthed me to be?
Yeah. Honestly, like, so just when I got out of, I mean, we'll talk about the mental health center, but when I got out of that, like, my Instagram was still Fat Rob. And for me, like, to get past that, I needed to change that because I'm still holding on to that and change my whole outlook, you know, like I said, like affirmations of, I don't really know what that situation is, but mine was more of like feeling fat and feeling out there, you know, and all that. And so I had to change that mindset of like, I'm not fat anymore. Like I was, that's the old me. Like I'm this new speaking person. And like, I'm going to change. Like, you know, I want to be more positive about myself. And even my surroundings, you know, like people telling me like, you're fit Rob now, you know, and actually accept that and just be like, I appreciate that, man. You know, like compliments have always been like a very, like, it's always made me feel weird and like always made me feel like insecure a little bit. And it's just like, but why don't I see what they're saying? You know, like, and it's just, it's so bad that like we are so hard on ourselves, you know, and you know, that mental health is like, that's where like it starts off. It's like, you're just so hard on yourself. You beat yourself down all the time. And it's just like, God made us in his image for a reason, right? You know?
So this one, the Fat Rob thing, you think that belief for yourself, the way you saw yourself, that started to bleed in every other area of life? Because you didn't see yourself, I guess, as positive in this light, and then that made you see yourself negative in other lights. So why you giving us like, because there's some things that I'm not good at, but I don't allow it to bleed into the rest of my life. That's just that one thing I'm not good at, or that I'm not. How did you let that bleed into the rest of, I guess, you think you're not a good dad or a good husband, or you're not being a good dad or a good husband?
Because so I let those insecurities lead into like, so even like, I'll give my wife as an example. She always made me feel, you know, good enough, always made me feel this. But then when she didn't, that Fat Rob came back. Like, it was just like, if she wasn't giving me those affirmations, even though like she would tell me like, even though she showed her love, like her actions showed that love. But then when I felt like that action wasn't being brought to me anymore, I'm a runner. That's what I learned from my kid. From my parents. Like they run from problems. We don't like, we just kind of like brush it under the rug and that's it. But like with her, she, like when I felt like she wasn't giving me what I needed, I felt not good enough again. I felt worthless. I felt like I'm not a good husband. I felt like I'm a bad father. I felt like all these emotions that I feel like when as Fat Rob were coming up again, you know, and so instead of facing that and talking to her about it, I mean, we weren't going to therapy or anything. And like, therapy's been a game changer for me, you know, and like, I've learned so much from therapy and like, it's hard to not always result back to like, I'm not good enough. And so like the insecurities have always been so bad in my life, you know, like,
So we're going to get into this again. Why? Because you mentioned therapy, you mentioned mental health facilities. So now I know our viewers can get a wave of where this is going. So I want to ask you this question because I know, you know, a good amount of your backstory, but you know, everybody else doesn't. So I want to ask you this question. I want to ask you, you don't know what you have until it's gone. When you hear that, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot to me because so since I was talking about my wife, she when she wasn't fulfilling those affirmations and those needs that I needed, that I never knew I needed until I wasn't getting it, because she always filled up that cup, you know, like she always did what I like, just did it, you know, but then like when she wasn't, so we had our problems. We were having our problems, and then eventually I ended up moving out and left my family, left my wife and all that, and because like I said, I'm a runner. You know, I don't want to face things. It's too hard. You know, like I'd rather run. And as I left, life was hard. Life was really hard. You know, like I barely got to see my kids anymore. Like, and if I did, I was working kind of late, so I would see them for a couple hours. If I got to see them, it was mainly FaceTime. You know, it was and then like just my wife has been my best friend since the age of 18, and I'm gonna be 39 in 2 weeks. You know, and so just not having that person to talk to when I'm going through things and all that, it was hard. Like, and not only that, like my family kind of turned their back on me. Like they were there, and if I needed it, but they couldn't believe what I was doing. And like the actions and the self-sabotaging I was doing to myself, and it was just so I felt so alone. And it was just like, what have I done? I was doing a lot of things I'm not proud of. Like I was doing a lot of things. I was hurting a lot of people, and I was not only hurting them, I was hurting myself. And I was just walking through life like a zombie, honestly. I had no morals. I had no care, like nothing. Like nothing mattered to me. I didn't care who I was hurting. I got to one point, and it was just like, if I could fulfill what I need, it doesn't matter about anybody else, And so thinking that, like, I didn't realize what I had until it wasn't there anymore.
Yeah. So what allows you to get to that point? So, for example, having a wife, having kids, having a home, and getting to the point to say, I'm just leaving this. And I get it. We talked about the fat Rob, the running situation, but even there's a lot of people that like, they will even get to that running and like, where am I going? Like, how can I leave this? What allows you to make that decision in your head that like there's something better out there than what I have right here that's in front of me?
Because I honestly, I met somebody, and she promised me a lot of things, and like, and I thought, she sold me this life that seemed better than what I had, and at the time it sounded great. Like I always wanted to not work where I'm working anymore. I wanted to, do more with homes, and, like, and stuff like that, and not have to work as hard, and be able to pick up my kids from school every day, and just be more of a father to them than working a 9 to 5 every day, and all that. And I got promised all these things. And honestly, I don't want to talk poorly because, I made my mistakes too, and all that, but I felt like I was manipulated. I felt like it was, not where, everything that I thought was supposed to happen, none of it happened. Like I kept up mainly my end of the deal, but like nothing really came on the outside. So what I had at home, I thought, it doesn't compare to this life I'm gonna have. Like I'm gonna be able to leave my kids stuff. I'm gonna be able to do this because I wanted more in life. I felt like my wife was just like, I'm okay with what we have. We have a beautiful home. We have 2 healthy kids. We built this, our empire that we have. And I'm like, okay, I understand that, but I want more. I strive for more. Like I don't think this is it. Like I think we could do more for our kids. We can do this and that. And I guess that's the man coming out on me. Like I got to provide, I got to do this and that, and not realizing like what I have is enough.
Yeah.
I like, why do we want more? And you had a guest on and he was talking about like wanting more and like being able to do this, and it's like, when do we realize enough is enough?
Yeah.
Like when do we just appreciate what we have, and like instead of, and not talking smack about that person, but like, I loved it. I mean, I love goals. I love that people strive for more and all that. But also too, like, I think it becomes not really toxic, but, or, like becomes like bad when it starts affecting your life.
So my question I have, so the Rob that said because when we met, I met a Rob that really didn't believe in himself, and you stated you had the fat Rob mentality. What allowed you to be that Rob in one setting, but then go to your wife and then be like, oh, I want more. We should be doing more. You get what I'm saying? Because what I'm getting at, there had to be, maybe she didn't believe, maybe you didn't give enough evidence, maybe she didn't believe. So it's wrapping back down to accountability. Did you ever just look at yourself and be like, well, maybe I ain't showing enough, or maybe she don't, you get what I'm saying? Because you didn't believe in yourself honestly, at the time.
I'd never take accountability for anything. Like, it was just like, never once. Like, I didn't even know what accountability meant. You know, honestly, it was just like, no, I want more. This is what's going to happen. And like, that's it. Like, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, because I'm basically saying you stated in the beginning that you didn't believe in yourself, but now you're coming into another person and expecting them to believe in you. How can somebody else believe in you and you don't even believe in yourself?
Because actually I never even thought of it like that. You know, that's a good point. You know, and but she always believed in me. She like, you know, even like when I started this nonprofit, you know, she believed in what, you know, like, let's start it. Like, you know, what do we have to do? And I'm like, I don't know, but we'll try to figure it out. You know, like it was just like, I always had these ideas, but sometimes I had too many ideas, you know, and she's just like, let's focus on one idea first, you know, like bring it down, Rob, you know, and like, but she always had my back. She always like, they always say like, a successful man is what like has a good woman on their side. Right. And I took that for granted. I didn't realize what a good woman I had on my side, and that will always support me no matter what, even if she was okay with what we had, you know, and not in looking back now, like I didn't have it that bad. There's a lot of people out there that would love and appreciate what I have, you know. It was just that like growing up, I grew up most of my life with a single mom, you know, and we struggled, you know. My mom worked her butt off. I remember I had to stay in daycare overnight while she worked nights. You know, I don't even know if they still do that anymore, but yeah, we slept at daycare overnight, and you know, I can only imagine the stress and that she was going through with raising two boys, you know, and you know, like it's hard.
Yeah. So family is important, brother. And especially when you create a family, one of the biggest things, and we work with young boys, so I'm saying this out of things that we're teaching them, it's not going to be easy. So, and I'm saying that to say, because I want you to speak to, there's somebody watching this that may be married, that may be married in the future, and they're going to deal with the same obstacles as you have, because everything, what they say, everything glitter ain't gold. And obviously we get comfortable. We get in situations and that thing right next to you, you begin to look outside and think that everything else is glittering and is better than what you have at home. What would you say to somebody that may be in the same position Rob was, and he got to decide if he should say, and again, every situation ain't the same, you know, precious like that. Every situation is not the same. But just for a general arching conversation, what would you say to a young man or a man that's in that position, that right there where you was, and if it's like, just stay home or should I leave? What would you say?
I'll give you an example. So Jamie's great example was we had a kid that, like you say, his mom is there. The dad may not be in his life, but mom is there, and is giving the family everything. She's literally working 2 jobs to support him. But for some reason, he feels like it's not enough, and that she should be doing more, that he should have more. So he has had thoughts on leaving, running away, and wanting to go stay with the other friends because I see what they have over there at his house. So what would you say to that, to him?
To him, so is it a kid?
So this one is a kid, but then I got some for men too.
Okay. Well, because for a kid, man, like he's got to appreciate. How old is this kid? You might ask.
14.
14? Yeah, I mean, your mom is, especially if she's working 2 jobs. Like, wow, like your mom is doing the best she can. Like that's amazing. Like it sucks that like she's not there and they like can't provide more. And that's the thing about social media, man. Like everyone in like, you know, your friends and all that, they have a lot more and they have it a lot easier, but it's just material things, you know, like when you really think about it, I don't know if I'm really answering your question the best, but like, I just think honestly, like we put value on things, on materials, instead of valuing like my mom is working 2 jobs and doing what the best she can. And I love her for that, you know, and I think in the long run, seeing how hard his mom worked is more valuable than let me buy you this, let me buy you a new Jordans, let me buy you this or that and that. And like, knowing that like she's doing her best on her own is more powerful to me, honestly. I mean, I'm 38 though. Like I'm not 14 thinking that like, why don't I have the newest things? Why don't I have this? Why don't I have that? Like I'm going to run away because I want that life, you know? But you got to realize that we're here, you know, this is the life that we didn't choose, the life we have, but we can also embrace the life we have, you know? That's beautiful.
And he took you. I forgot what I asked you. He took you away from the question that I asked you. I don't even know what I asked you.
But I was.
Do y'all know what I asked you? He just stole my whole question.
But Because what he answered, you said you want him to give an answer.
Oh, I was gonna say, because you were talking about like running away, almost like kind of like you. I was gonna say communication.
Okay.
Communication, I think honestly is key with your wife or your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever it is. Like, I think. So me and my wife we were together in our 20s, you know, and all we did was enjoy each other, party, you know, and like not party a lot, but you know, we were doing things when you're in your 20s, you know, and just enjoying each other. And but when we started having kids, then we had responsibility. We had things we had to actually talk about, and like, but when you go through life for so long without having to actually have deep, serious conversations and like communicating like that, like, it's like, how do you learn this now? There's no handbook to show you how to communicate, you know, like it's harder to, especially when you have two kids that you have to, like, you would live or die for, you know, like, and it's just like, and then even the parenting, I remember we used to argue a lot about like, don't question me how I handle disciplining the kids. Like, you know, I'm not gonna question you and don't question me. And instead of like coming at each other, like, we should have came together and like, why didn't, I don't think you need to, like, me, like, because sometimes I'd get a little aggressive, like listen to your mom, like, you know, and it's just like, she's more of the talker, like, let's talk to him, like, hey, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And then after a while, I'm just like, enough with your talking, like, hey, go to your room or whatever, you know, like, I'm disciplining them. But like, instead we should have just came together and like, just like that as communication, you know, like, communication is so important. And like, even now to this day, like, through my recovery, like, we're still trying to learn how to communicate, you know, because it just doesn't happen right overnight, you know. And, you know, I was just telling her today, like, you need to express to me how you're feeling. And when I express to you how I'm feeling, like, that's when we should do it together, you know, like, you should tell me, like, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that, you know, and this, and like, it's hard to like express your feelings and hard to like communicate it, you know, and just even on this podcast, you know, sometimes it's hard. Like, I don't even know if I'm doing a good job right now.
You
explaining it.
No, you are, and that's exactly what I want. And as you're talking, bro, I seen you through the phases in the wilderness, because again, we are in the gym every morning together. So your situation happened, and I can see the downfall of Rob. I can see you decreasing. I seen you show up one day, and I'm like, that's not right. Then I seen you show up another time, it looked like a bus had hit you. And then I, you know, through that, I'm like, you good? You know, you just give me some time.
I always appreciate you asking me too.
Like, you good? You like, I'm like, all right. Then you know, you just give me a little, but I can tell, like, like his world. And then you finally open up and tell me what went. I said, I knew it.
Because being a man, like, you don't want, like, you're just like, you start feeling weak. You're like, I'm not a man. I don't feel like a man anymore. I feel like this person that has just hit rock bottom, and like, right when I thought I hit rock bottom again, and then again, and then again, and then again. I'm just like, when is rock bottom going to stop? You know, like, I was just struggling bad. And like I said, I was a zombie.
What headspace were you in, Dan? So, and during that time, like, how was Rob actually feeling? Like, how did Rob see himself when he looked in the mirror? How did Rob approach his day? Like,
I hated myself more than anything, man. I really did not. Honestly, I didn't even want to live anymore.
Wow.
I did not. Like, I got to the point to where, like, so I don't like saying I did it for attention, but maybe it was like at first to like I would say, I just want to die. Like, I want to kill myself and all this. And like, maybe it was for attention, just to like say how I'm really feeling. Like, and I wanted somebody to care enough to acknowledge that I am struggling this bad. But then it got to a point to where, like, somebody I thought I cared about or cared about me told me I was better off dead. And then at that time is when I think something clicked in my head. Even though I was telling myself I went to therapy, I even remember it like it was yesterday. I said, like, all right, well, this person said it, and now, like, oh, the old me is dead. Now this is a new me. But it really affected me. It affected me so much because I was like, I already felt so crappy about myself, and like, and this person that cared about me told me I'm better off dead, even if they said it out of anger or anything. But those words were so powerful that it hurt me the most I've ever been hurt, you know. And like, I got 2 kids, and like, and then like even though I was like thinking I got 2 kids to live for and all that, I was just like, if this person thinks I'm better off dead, maybe I am, you know, maybe I really am. And like, and then, you know, like, my wife, she would tell me, like, I would tell her, like, I don't want to live anymore. And she would be like, she's like, bro, you got 2 kids, you know, these kids need you, they need you. And as much as I know she was trying to be there for me and help me, it made it worse, because I was just like, these kids don't deserve a broken man. They deserve somebody that is a lot better than me, that can care for them more, and that would love them unconditionally, even though I love them unconditionally, but I love them more enough to not have them go through what I'm going through, you know? And it was just like, so I got to the point to where like, I even started like, not really planning it out, but like, it was just more of like spur of the moments. Like I had a bunch of pills. I thought about overdosing on pills. And then I did it. And then one time I had a knife up to my neck, I almost slit it. And then I put a gun into my mouth one time too. And it was just like, and it was just like, it was so like scary. But then like, I couldn't do it because I didn't want to die, but I wanted to die. And so I started praying to God and telling him I hated him. I would tell him like, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. Kill me, take my life, because I'm too much of a coward to do it myself. Like, I don't need to be here anymore. Like, I just want you to take me, please. Like, I can't handle this stress. I can't handle this pain anymore. Like, please just take me. And, but thank goodness he did it, you know, like, and that's when I realized like, I need help. Wow. I need more help than I can get, like, through going to therapy once a week. But not only that, like, before I got to that point, like, this guy, Josh, that I met at the gym, and I used to deliver his mail, and we got real close, and he wanted to put me through the 12-step program, even though I'm not a drug addict or an alcoholic. But I was like, I'm willing to do anything. I'm really willing to try anything. I'll go to 12 step. I'll do 12 step. I'll go to AA, whatever, you know. I listen to other people's story. It might help me, you know. And so and he's like, bro, if you can't really do this, like, I think you should look into going to a treatment center. And I'm like, no, I got this, man. I got this. And didn't even make it a week. And I called him, I was like, I can't do this on my own. I really can't, man. Like, do you have a center I can go to? And then he sent me like a website to this center that I ended up going to. And you know, I was nervous, and also too, like, I want to bring up that like insurance should really help more with mental health. Sure. Like it's sad how like insurance won't help as much. Like, thank goodness this center like took my insurance and helped. Like, you know, I didn't have to pay anything. Thank goodness. And I was there for 5 weeks. Yeah. But but like they don't take mental health as serious as it is, you know. And it's
so let's go back a little bit to come back forward. So I'm glad that you got to the spot where you seek help, because as a man, we don't do that. That's a like, to be able to say I need help and to go through everything you went through. But one thing that stuck out to me that you said during your time, your wife was telling you to live for your kids, and that made it worse. Because I remember those days of sitting there with you and not really knowing what to say. It's because I can see like you're hurting, but again, I what do I say to this person?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I bring that up because now that you're better, or you're on your healing journey, what does someone say? You know, for our view, like, what do you say? What do you wish your wife would have said, or what should I have said to you in that moment, if anything?
Honestly, I don't really know if there's much you can say unless you're going through it, because it's hard to explain. Even like when I was going through it, I didn't know how to explain it. I just know I needed help. Unless you've actually had mental health or like gone through something like that, it's hard to explain it, because like I said, I was self-sabotaging myself, and people are just like, you're growing. Like, give my mom an example. You know, I love her to death, and I don't want anyone to think poorly of her, but like, I literally told her, Mom, I need help. Like, I can't do this on my own anymore. I don't know how to ask you for help or what you need to do, but I need you. And without the resources and the you know, the struggle she went through with her upbringing, and, you know, my dad leaving her and all that, she's just like, I don't know how to help you. You need to find help on your own. And that made me feel even more alone, you know? And so it's hard to like say like, how can you help somebody that you don't understand what you're going through? So, but since I've gone through it, you know, I can help more. Like, even if like I don't understand, like, you know, like I met some people at the center like that were alcoholics and all that, but I was there for mental health. I was there for like, you know, for something different. But yeah, I think you should definitely reach out to like people, or even go get help. Like, go to therapy. Talk to a therapist, even though like it can get expensive. But there's some therapists out there that don't take insurance. But I wish there was more options for that too, you know, with insurance and all that. But like, I kind of lost track of where your question was.
You're good in a good spot, because we're gonna go back to the treatment. So you put a pills. You think about ODing on pills. You put a knife to your neck. You even put a gun to your mouth. You're telling God to take me. I'm too coward to do myself. I think in that moment, that's when God showed you who he really was. Because that was God not allowing you to do those things to yourself, because he knew he had more for you. And now you take yourself into a facility. And it took you, you know what I mean, reaching out to a friend, network, or however, and this gets you help and push you into this facility. First of all, how do you even, so I know you need help. So in that part of time, you're not even thinking about it. Just like, I need help, and I'm going. As you're in this, what is it really like? Because take us on this journey. You say this is 5 weeks, which is a long time.
Yeah.
What actually goes on in these facilities?
So I'll tell you the first day, the day I was going, like, I was a mess. Like, I felt like the weakest person in the world, because I was just like, what happened to my life? How did I lose such control over my life that I needed to go to a center, you know? And I've never gone to jail, but I've heard people say, like, I'm better than this, you know? And like, they're saying, like, I don't deserve to be here or whatever, you know? And like, that's kind of how I was with the mental health center. Like, I'm not, as society would call them, crazy, you know? Like, I'm not crazy. Like, I just am struggling, you know? But how did I lose such control over my life that I wanted to end it? And so the first day I was crying all morning, and I just was a mess. Like, I get there and they check me in, you know, and all that. And I'm like, in my head, like, I locked in. I was just like, all right, I'm doing this. Like, I have no other option other than, like, if I don't stay here and do this, I'm not going to be here anymore. You know, I'm going to end my life. So I locked in, and then, like, you know, I'm kind of a social person, so it didn't take long for me to start talking to people, you know, and just asking them, like, why they're there and all that. And you know, there's some people that, like, you question, they're like, oh man, they got a lot more issues than I do, which is a horrible thing to say.
Yeah.
Because it's like my issues are my issues and their issues are their issues, and like, you can't judge it. Just like a sin is a sin, no matter what, you know. And like, I can't judge somebody by what they're going through, you know. I know what I'm going through. I don't know if they ever got to the point where they wanted to kill themselves, and I know I did, you know. So it was just like, and not only that, like, so the first 3 days it was more of like learning learning what to do, you know, like, when can I work out, when can I do this, like, you know, like, where's class, what's this. So it was
it's like a facility, like a living facility.
Yeah, living facility. Yeah. So I lived there for 5 weeks, and so at 9 o'clock, so they have meds. You do morning meds. You get up around, I think it was like 6:30, and they take your blood pressure and all that, and then you start getting ready to go sign this paper, ask you a bunch of questions, and then we would go to breakfast, and then from breakfast we'd come back, take our meds, which I'm on Lexapro. It's a depression pill. It's a very low dose, but, like, you know, there's more people that have more serious issues than I do, so they were on a lot more pills. I don't know too much about that pill world, but also too, like, I never realized how much pills help, you know, until I went there. There's a lot of people that have a lot more serious issues. Like, I found out about bipolar. I found out about schizophrenic. You know, I've learned. I even saw a person have a seizure for the first time. That freaked me out. I had never seen anything like that before. But she ended up being one of my good friends there. You know, it just, like, you meet all these people, and they have their problems, or whatever you want to call it, you know, but they're great people. These people literally saved my life, helped me save my life, you know. And like, and I hate that, like, you know, people are always being called, you know, like, you're crazy and all this, you're bipolar. I met a lot of bipolar people that are super cool, you know, and
that's where.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's so, well, anyways, I'll go back to the day. So the day at 9 o'clock is so we go to breakfast, and then 9 o'clock is our first group therapy, and that's goal group. So we set our goals for the day. At first, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Set goals for the day. Like, what am I going to do for the day? You know, I don't even know what I'm doing here, honestly. But I ended up loving it. Like, I would say, like, my goal for the day is to figure out what's going on today, you know, or like, my goal is today to run 10 miles or like 10 laps around the track or whatever, you know, and just like set these little, you know, miniature goals or smart goals, you know. And and then you know, or like say like I want to get closer to God, I want to read my Bible, or I want to say more affirmations about myself, and you know, just be more positive. And I enjoyed it so much after a while that now I do it with my kids.
That's dope.
Yeah, and so we do goals every morning, and we do affirmations every morning, and because I want my kids to grow up knowing that they are good enough. And their first affirmation is like my daughter is, "You are beautiful," and my son says, "You are handsome." And then what other affirmation do you have?
I love that, bro, because you're taking from your experiences to make sure your children don't go through the same thing. So obviously it's a facility that helped you. You learned a lot.
Yeah.
You're taking things from this facility that you are applying into your everyday life now. If you could pin it to one thing, what do you think the biggest lessons you learned from being inside that treatment facility?
Then I have purpose now. Like honestly, like I lost my purpose, and you know, and my purpose is to still live, and I have so much more to live for. You know, like I was talking to this guy at the gym not too long after I got back, and he was telling me, the more I open up, the more I realize how many people struggle through mental health, and like it's mind blowing how many people are just hiding it, you know, and I wish we would, like, it's easier when you can open up and somebody else will open up back to you. Yeah. But he was telling me, he's like, you know, when I was, I forget, 1997 or something like that. I forget what year, but he's like, I had everything, you know. He's like, I had a good job, I had a good home, I had 2 or 3 kids. I forget what he said. And, but I was miserable. He's like, I hated my life. I almost killed myself. And he's like, if I wouldn't have been able to see my grandbabies. I wouldn't have been able to see my kids grow up, you know, and all this stuff. And that hit so hard. And it's like, wow, like all these memories I still have to make. And if I would have took my life, I wouldn't have been able to make any of those memories, you know? And so that's why I think if you're in that place of darkness and all that, you should get help, seek help. I mean, even call me, 352-207-7671. Call me, like, I'll help you find service, you know, find something, you know. I'm willing to help anybody that wants to get mental health, you know, like or like get help with their mental health. Like it's a serious thing, and like you're here for a reason, and we're all here for a reason. And we have a purpose. Even if you don't think you have a purpose right now, you have a purpose.
I love that. You gave your number out like Mike Jones. but even on that, bro, and you just said that everybody should be helped, but there's still going to be somebody that hears this and they may not be able to have the courage to say, I need to go seek help. So if you can give one nugget, one like practical tip, one practical advice of somebody that may be dealing with mental health issues, something you may have learned in a facility that someone that they can apply right now. They may be dealing with something, they don't want to go to the facility, but something, an exercise, an approach that was learned in there, a strategy that was given to you in there that someone at home can practice at home that they can do to help them try to get better.
Honestly, like affirmations, like, and that's the biggest one to me, I think, because it's like, stop like negative talk. If you're going through it, it's because you have so much negative thoughts about yourself and all that. And honestly, bro, I'll be honest, like when I went to that mental health center, I was scared to come back to reality. Because I felt like a kid again there. I felt like I had breakfast, lunch, and dinner made. Like I literally had nothing but to focus on my health, on my healing, you know. And so coming back to reality, like it was scary to come back, even to turn on my phone. They took my cell phone from me, and it was nice not to have a cell phone, not worrying about that fight or flight, like that stress of like, oh, what mean text am I about to read, or what's next, or what, you know. And I don't want to make it seem like I was innocent in all this, because I was not innocent at all. I said a lot of things I regret. I've hurt a lot of people. I made a lot of mistakes, and I wish I could take it all back. And I struggle still to this day about all the bad things I did, you know, and forgiveness and all that. I still am struggling, you know. I'm still going through the healing process. I just left the center February 6th, you know, so I'm still on that journey of forgiving myself, and, you know, and getting rid of all that guilt and all that I still have. And, you know, my wife, how much I hurt her, you know, and all that. And my family, you know, my family was very hurt by all that too. And so it's a long journey. It's going to be a long road, but, you know, I got a foundation again. I don't have a cracked, broken foundation. I have a foundation that I can grow from again.
I like it. What role does faith and family play in your recovery process?
Faith and family. So family, oh man, it means you mean like they mean the world to me. Like honestly, I wish they knew a little bit more about mental health when I was going through it. But that knowing that they were there for me and proud of me, like I felt like I had so much negative talk about me for a year about with my family and all that. But to hear like my mom tell me she was proud of me again, and you know, to hear my hear my wife tell me she was proud of me again, and like even my kids, you know, they missed me so much. And like that first day I got back, I picked up my kids from school, and on the way home, and my son was like, "What, Dad? Why were you gone for so long?" I was like, "I was sick, buddy." You know, like, you know, that lady that you saw on Zoom call, like she was my doctor. She was helping me, and he's like, and like he kind of reached up and gave me a hug, and he was just like, "Even when you're sick, I love you with all my heart," you know. And it's just like moments like that is just like, this is why I'm still here and why I'm alive, and like why God showed that like you're here for a reason, you know, like you're here to help them not struggle through what you went through. Because if I would have ended my life, they would have hated themselves more, because of like, why am I not good enough to live for, you know? And it wasn't even about them, you know. And I would hate to not be able to explain that to them. It was just more of like, I couldn't fight off the demons I was going through, you know?
Man, so we talked about mindset a lot too, because a lot of this has to do with mindset. We've seen how you seen yourself early on. It's that Rob, that you went through, your experience, what you went through. Now you're on your healing journey. I'm eager to see what mindset are you in now? What headspace are you in now that you're on this side of it?
A lot better mindset, man. I mean, like I said, I still have my moments of struggle, you know, and like because of the guilt and the pain, and you know, like, you know, me and my wife got in an argument the other day, and you know, it's just like, but the tools I learned from the center kind of helped me a little bit, you know. It's just like, because my mind went straight to like not feeling good enough again, like, oh, I hurt her so much, I should have took my life back then, you know, like, and all this stuff. Like my mind started going there, and I hate that like our mind automatically goes there, like, and you can't control that. But if you use the tools that you learn and all that, you know how to reel it back. And you know, it's just more of like, because one of my first instincts was to run, like I always do. But then I'm like, oh wait, I feel like I want to run. I notice it now, and like let me work it out. Let me talk to her, and like realize like, no, like I want to fix this, and I want to get better, and I don't want to keep this, and letting my kids see that like I'm a runner instead of like facing hard things, you know.
Yeah, I like this. So where does Rob go from here? So when one thing we talk about pain, and sometimes you can use your pain to propel you, or you can use your pain to give you an excuse and why things aren't the way they should be.
Sure.
So where does Rob go from here?
Taking a lot of accountability for what I did, a lot of like all the actions that I, you know, like I said, like I never took accountability for anything, and I think a lot of people don't take accountability for anything, you know, and really like just really zone in and focus on my healing. Like I go to men's group now, like I go to therapy, I mean, even if I had to again, I would check myself into a center, you know, like I'm not even afraid of it anymore. Like I think a strong person is somebody that can admit that they're having struggles in their heart, and like their heart, yeah, I mean, they're having a hard time. Like strong people aren't, oh, you can lift this much weight, or like society thinks like, oh, he looks strong or this or that. Like, no, you have a strong mindset. That's what a strong man is, I think.
Yeah.
And like, and one thing I wanted to say too, like if you ever, like if your friends, because this is one thing, like I love my friends to death, you know, I grew up with them, and they don't struggle through mental health or anything. So it was hard to like talk to them about it. But I remember one thing that I really did not like when I approached my friends about what I'm going through, them saying, man up. That is like the worst thing you could say to somebody that is going through it, because it's like, what is man up to you? Like, if I could man up, I would have already manned up. Like, I don't know how to man up, because I am struggling right now so bad that like there's no manning up right now. Like, and like that's like just the worst thing to say to somebody that's going through mental health.
And that's a great thing to say, because that's something we were taught. You know what I mean? Especially at a young age, we hit our toe man up. You hit. So I'm pretty sure your friends didn't know what else to say.
Yeah.
But as we're having this conversation, I hope that helps someone, because even someone like myself, I take that approach sometimes.
Yeah.
Learning to, you know what I mean, remove myself from that and understand that we all have feelings, and it's okay to acknowledge our feelings and be more aware of what's going on. So I think this is a great conversation that we're having. And I do one quick thing that I'm thinking about, bro. I'm thinking.
I don't mean to cut you off real quick, but I wanted to say validate people's feelings. Validate people's feelings, because that is a thing that can hurt somebody too. Is like not really validating them. You know, validation is a big thing too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Do you practice what you preach? You be validating.
Listen. I'm still struggling. I'm still struggling, but I'm trying to get better at it. Now, like I said, I just left on February 6th, so like taking everything I learned and that's why I said like I was scared to leave, because I didn't have any worries there. But now that I'm back in reality, like I have those struggles and those things that I have to face now, and like so little by little, it's gonna get better and better. And just realizing it. Because I didn't know anything at the beginning of this journey. Like when I started going to therapy back in the day, like I didn't know about the insecurities I had. I didn't know about validation. I didn't know about I had a bunch of I needed dopamine. So the dopamine, my dopamine rushes were finding validation from people, and instead of being able to validate myself. And that's another thing that we need to learn is validate yourself. Don't get it from other people, because you're never going to be pleased by getting that validation from somebody else. Get it from your truth. Know who you are, and know your who you are, and just know how to validate yourself. And I struggle with that. Kind of like I said, Fat Rob. I wasn't validating myself then. Like I thought I was a worthless piece of crap.
Yeah. If you can go back and talk to yourself, so that person that had that knife at his neck, that gun in his mouth. If you can go back, so nothing going through the process. If you can go back and talk to that person, what would you say?
Get help sooner. Get help a lot sooner, because I would have never gone through that process, I would have never felt all that, or even even before that, I would have said I would have came up to my wife and been like, hey, there's something going on with us. Let's go get help. Let's seek it, because if I can go back now, I would have got a help a lot sooner. And it's just hard to know what you're going through until you get too far into it, and then it's just all right, now I'm ready to run. I think something's better out there.
Yeah.
When you realize there's not really anything better.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to leave you with this, brother. I printed these out and I wanted to read them to you. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, 9 and 10. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That is why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, in hardships, in persecution, in difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong. So I'm going to say one piece that stuck out to me. Therefore, I will boast all of the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. You get what I'm saying? So even at our lowest moments, God sustains us. You get what I'm saying? Even at our weaknesses, God allows our power to be displayed, his power to be displayed. You get what I'm saying? So even in your weaknesses, when you were cussing God out or doing whatever you're at, that's when he shows you how strong he really is. That's what that's saying, brother. And another one, Psalms 34, 17 and 8 through 18. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and save those who are crushed in spirit. So again, even in our darkest moments, Lord, God is near us, and he's ready. You get to say he's ready to rescue us. I got a couple. I got to read them all. I got another one for you.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah, Isaiah 41 and 10. So do not fear, for I'm with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. God never leaves us.
Awesome.
He never leaves us. All right. And last but not least, Isaiah 43, 18 through 19. Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. So again, forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. And you know what I'm saying? I think that's what God is saying to you. So you got to let go of the past, brother. You got to know that God is doing a new thing. And he said, I'm finding hope in the wilderness. You get what I'm saying? So through everything you went through, you still got to find hope and know that the pain that you went through, that it was for a reason, it's purpose. Now it's your turn to be able to know that you're not Fat Rob, you're Fit Rob. You're the gentleman that's going to go out and you're going to make change in our community. You're going to use your story. You're going to touch somebody. If that's through endeavor, that's through whatever you touch, through your family, through maybe classes with you and your wife, showing people how to revealed a marriage. You know what I'm saying? You never know where that's going to go, but God chose you to go on this journey, bro. You just got to embrace it and understand that what you went through doesn't mean, that doesn't portray where you're going.
Yeah.
Only you do, and with the help of God.
I like that because I struggle with that because it's like now everyone looks at me a certain way now. And yeah, that's the old me. Like, obviously it's going to take time to prove that I'm not, but like, you know, in my head, I struggle with that. Like thinking the people, like, you know, my closest friends look at me in this certain way now.
Yeah. And you got to understand that that's not true. And even with the thought of knowing that maybe that perception weighs on you, you have to understand that those affirmations that we're talking about that you said that you're doing, that matters more so than what somebody else saying, what you're saying to you, what the little ones that look up to your kids, what they think about you, those words that your wife's saying that you may not want to hear, that she's saying, you know what I mean? That's what it means the most, brother. So I'm happy for you, brother. Like I said, I'm here for you. You know, we go through what we go through for a reason. I understand that, you know, you went through that. So you have to understand that just now is your time to use that as a thing that's going to push you forward, not pull you back. So I appreciate
that.
Yeah, man. So
thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you. But Eddie, anything before we spin off?
I appreciate you sharing your story. Two things you said: be accountable and not run. Face whatever it is that you're dealing with. There are many people, and you know, men on stage, there are many men that are dealing with issues, and may not even be the mental issues that you deal with, but there are men that are dealing with things in life that, just like Jamie just said from that scripture, like it even for me, you know, when we mentor the boys, it's like certain things that I make sure that I tell them because I know, you know, it's going to help them in some way. You just said it, God put us through the things that we went through for a reason, because there's somebody else on the other side that's going to be able to hear and appreciate the story that we share with them to help them get over. So
I love that what y'all do too, man. Like starting early, man. Like, I mean, there were some kids that were 18 years old in the mental health center, you know, and I'm like, I mean, I look up to you because like you're getting help now. You realize you need help now, and not wait till you're 38 years old to realize you need help, you know. And so I love that y'all are mentoring these kids and helping them. You know, y'all have a great cause, man. It's really awesome.
You see what it says, man. Own your greatness. God created us all to be great. So I'm hoping that you would, you know, as you move forward, own your greatness, understand that you got greatness within you. And one thing I want you to do before we spin it off, talk about what you got on your chest right there. What is that? And what are you looking for? Cause I'm put you on the spot. What can we be looking forward to when it comes to Endeavor?
This is Endeavor MMA. Like it's my goal to get back this year, because last year was a really rough year. So to get back this year, and what I'm offering is to raise money to give scholarships to give kids to that can start MMA early, you know, because it's I wish I would have started martial arts a lot earlier. And it not only is it, you know, like people look at it as like violent and all that, but no, the teaching, like, you know, the discipline, the being able to protect yourself is a very important thing, you know, like if I were to go out and somebody were to try me, I know that, like, hey, I can hurt this person. Like, I don't want any problems. Like, you know, like just go your way and I go my way, or even like, you know, just de-escalating, you know, you don't want to hurt nobody. And like everybody, all men, like we all want to be like, oh, I'm stronger than you. And then you get in a fight and then you hit somebody, they hit their head on the ground and they're dead. And now you're spending the rest of your life in jail. No, like martial arts teaches you, like, you don't need that life, you know, so I want kids to get started early, and that's my goal to maybe one day have a facility. But right now, like, I'm gonna help out Ocala Boxing downtown and like and start giving kids scholarships there that want to learn how to box sooner. And then, you know, we got a jiu-jitsu class there now, and so then that's my goal.
How can people get in touch with you for that?
Oh, you can go to Endeavor MMA on Instagram and then hit me up on DM there, or like, you know, on Facebook for Roberto Paulo Novoa, you know, and just DM me and we'll try to get something going.
Yeah, and Rob came out with us with our boys who Cut Different, did a wonderful workshop last summer. So if you all are interested, you definitely should get in touch with him. But again, brother, man, I appreciate you for being here. You guys know what it is. Like, subscribe, and comment. All right, stop what you're doing. Great episode, great conversation. Very organic, man. And you got to appreciate someone that's coming up here and literally he's just fresh out of this thing, and he's coming up here talking about his experience. A lot of us usually try to hide these things. So I appreciate him. I appreciate you, and I appreciate your beautiful wife as well. for allowing you to come up here and sharing that story. I hope that you all can, you know what I mean, walk away from this and just God just abundantly just blesses you all.
I appreciate that.
Everything
Thank you so much.
that you can never imagine. So definitely rooting for you all. And, man,
I'm rooting for y'all to get 5,000.
See,
5,000.
hey, he been watching. Thank you. There you go. He been watching. 5,000. All right, let's go. 5,000 subscribers. So make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Casino night, April the 12th, coming soon. All right. Other than that, Rob, we're gonna finish with you, brother. If you can look in this camera, this is your camera, as you're spinning off, just a message to the people. And I definitely want to give a message to somebody that may be drowning right now. They don't even know what left and right look like. They're just drowning and they just don't know what to do. What is a message to that person right now?
The message to you is call me. You got my phone number. I put it on here. You can put it on the thing and call me. We'll get through this together. I promise you. I will answer my phone and I will get you the help you need. Please call me. Don't make any bad decisions. I got you. I promise you.
All right. And the last one, I'll put you on the spot too. And I just thought about, I want you to give, so throughout your journey of recovery and what you're going through, you mentioned your wife a lot. And when we used to talk, you would talk about how your wife was there. Even when we were coming, you was like, man, I messed up, but my wife's still there. You'll be talking to her in the morning in the gym. I remember those times. So I want you to say a message to your beautiful wife and your children as well. What would you say to them?
Oh, man.
Put you on the spot. Yeah.
Melissa, thank you. You saved my life. I can't believe that you even stayed there for as long as you did. Like God brought you into my life to make me a stronger person, to help me. And I'm beyond thankful for you. I don't think I would have been able to do this without you. You know, you were the only one that was there on my side, even through all the pain and hurt that I put you through. Thank you so much. I love you with all my heart. And I hope one day I can make this all better and I can show you how much I appreciate you saving my life. Appreciate it. Kids, I love you.
There it is, man. I appreciate you, Rob, man. We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.